So you're thinking about moving to La Jolla, California? Well, I hope you brought your checkbook because it's about to get pricey, but it's well worth it because La Jolla was actually named one of the most affluent cities in not only just San Diego, but all of California. And it's home to some of the most beautiful beaches, gorgeous bluffside homes, and there's just a ton of things to do with our outdoor activities. So today, that's what I'm actually gonna share with you in this video. I'm gonna explain everything you need to know about La Jolla, and I'm actually gonna walk you guys through on the map and explain some of the proximities to things like downtown San Diego, the airport, things to do, shopping plazas, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about the real estate. Let's go ahead and get after it now. Welcome back to the channel, guys. If this is your first time here and you like to know more about what it's like to live in San Diego or some of the surrounding areas, just like La Jolla, make sure you tap that subscribe button below so you're the first to know about the current market here in San Diego. My name is Nick and I get calls, texts, emails pretty much daily from you guys now, and I absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about making a move here in a day, a week, a year, whatever it is, make sure you shoot me a text, email, or just give me a call so I can help save you time and help you make a smooth move here to San Diego. Now, let's talk a little bit more about La Jolla because that's what we came here to talk about. And if you're thinking about making a move here in the future, it's gonna be really important that you know what to expect and what it's actually like to live here, because there's a big difference from visiting to living here. And if you haven't seen any of my other videos on La Jolla, make sure you check those out because it's just gonna help you make a more informed decisions. But like I said, La Jolla is one of the most affluent cities in all of San Diego, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, some of these homes here are just jaw-dropping, and homes can span all the way up to the $20–25 million mark. Let's go ahead and let's jump into my computer so I can show you around. All right, guys, so I have the maps pulled up, as you can see, and I already have La Jolla outlined right here. And as you can see, for the location, it's gonna be just south of Del Mar, and then it's just north of Pacific Beach. But before we zoom in on La Jolla, I want to show you guys just for scale. This is going to be San Diego County, and here's La Jolla right here. So as you can see right there, it's in a very good spot. It's very centrally located, which makes it great because first off, you can just hop on the 5. This is going to be your main source for traveling around. But if you hop on the 5 and go north, you can honestly be in Oceanside, Carlsbad in about 30 minutes, depending on traffic, and then you'll head up to Orange County after that, which is going to be a little bit further of a drive. But I think my favorite part about the location is if you travel a lot for either work or maybe La Jolla is going to be a second home for you and you need to fly around, this is great because check this out. Let me zoom in. International Airport is going to be about right here in downtown San Diego. All you have to do is just hop on the 5 if you live in La Jolla, shoot down the 5, and in about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes if there's traffic, you're going to be at the airport. So that is amazing. And not only that, you have downtown San Diego where there's a ton of stuff to do and go show your friends and family around. There's so many cool things in La Jolla. I mean, especially when I'm going through the map and really looking at it, there really is a lot of stuff to do. In La Jolla, actually, a little fun fact, Jolla means jewel in Spanish. So it's a little jewel of San Diego. And I've actually heard a lot of people call it La Jolla. Don't be that person. Don't be that person calling it La Jolla. It's La Jolla. Let's zoom in here. And first, I want to start off showing you guys some of the shopping and some of the plazas and restaurants and things like that where you're going to be going and getting your groceries and going to grab a bite to eat. Because there's a ton of places like that in La Jolla, but there's really going to be, depending on where you like to shop, there's only a couple areas where you're going to be able to get your groceries and things like that and go to Target. So let's start with this one. This is actually going to be over in La Jolla Village. So let me zoom out. So there it is for scale. It's not a huge place. Population is about, I think it's about 40,000 people, and the population's not really growing, right? Because there's no room to build here anymore. There's just nothing, and they're not knocking down homes and building multifamily or anything like that. But it does get extremely crowded in the summer months, you know, like June, July, August. It can be very busy. There's a lot of traffic. I have another video talking about the pros and cons of what it's actually like to live in La Jolla, so make sure you check that one out. But let's talk a little bit about the shopping, because first off, your main shopping hub, I don't care where you live in La Jolla, even if you live in the Village or down here in Bird Rock, it's going to take you about 15 minutes to get to this shopping center which is going to be right here. And let me show you why I like this one, is because you have a plethora of different things. So you have a Whole Foods Market over here. You're going to have a Trader Joe's, which is going to be right here on the other plaza. So these are two very big plazas right here. You got one over here and you got one just south on Noble Drive. So that's probably where you're going to be doing most of your shopping. It's the La Jolla Village Square right here, but you have Phil's Coffee, which is great coffee. Tesora, that's the coffee, that's my go-to there. That one's really good. And while I'm just over on this eastern part of La Jolla, so about 5 minutes down the road on Noble right here, you're gonna have UTC, which is a huge, huge shopping center. It's an outdoor mall. It's gorgeous. It's more of like a luxury shopping center, but you have hundreds of stores in there. And then as we kind of cruise around, you're gonna have some shops and some stuff over here, and those are going to be more like restaurants and things like that. Let's go down this way. So this is where La Jolla Village is going to be right down here. So this is where you're going to have a ton of shopping, ton of retail. You're going to have a couple little grocery stores and markets and things like that over here. But this is where it gets pretty touristy too. So in the summer months, you have La Jolla Cove over here, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Pearl Street, this is like your main strip right here in La Jolla. But you have a Vons right here, you have a CVS. So that's where you might be doing some of your shopping as well. And then let's move a little bit south to Bird Rock, because this is where you're gonna have a lot of walkability right in this zone too. So you're gonna have more restaurants, coffee shops, and things like that. Once you start heading a little more south on La Jolla Boulevard, you're now going to be in Pacific Beach. So there's some of the shopping. There's really not a lot of groceries and plaza stuff. So you're gonna probably be commuting over to this zone, like I said, because that's gonna be most of your options. The average price point here, it's very high, as you probably know. It's about $2.3 million, which is, you got to have some deep pockets if you want to live in La Jolla. But you need to keep in mind, just because that's the average price point, most homes are selling at $1 million to $2 million, but there's homes selling, there's a home that holds the record right now that sold in Bird Rock for $25 million. Left side, ocean views, you name it. Huge mansions. As far as that goes, you can find some lower priced options as well. So 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom condos, especially in this area right here, you can find stuff from $600,000 to $700,000 to $800,000, and these are going to be condos. But this zone right here, so you heard me talk about the Whole Foods up here, and there's a World Market and there's a Trader Joe's, but this zone right here, this is where you're going to have some lower price options located in a great spot, because you're close to the 5, you're close to downtown, you're close to the airport still. And then you have some really high-end neighborhoods like La Jolla Farms right here. Alicia Keys owns a home right over here, and some really high net worth people live in La Jolla Farms. You have Murlan's, which is going to be over here. You have Village of La Jolla down here, which is going to be some single family homes, some condos. And then you have Bird Rock too, which is a lot more family oriented in my eyes. You're going to have beach bungalows, new built modern homes, and things like that. Those are some of the neighborhoods. I'll do something more detailed later, so stay tuned for that. And keep this in mind, La Jolla is not flat. It is not flat whatsoever. It's very hilly, and you have views, and you have steep hills, and you have steep driveways, and it's going to go up and down. But that's what's so beautiful about La Jolla, in my opinion. But like I said, depending on what your budget is and what you're looking for, make sure you reach out, because I will save you a ton of time, and I just really want to help you figure out which neighborhood is best for you, especially with your budget. But now let's talk about my favorite stuff and just some of the things to do in La Jolla, because there's a ton to do, because the weather's always perfect. Even today, it's late September, and it's about 72 degrees out, and it's just a sunny day and perfect. So it makes it great to go out there and do a lot of free activities for the most part. So let's start up here actually, because this whole zone up here is kind of like a playground. So you have Black's Beach right here, is pretty well known for the most part. It's actually a clothing optional beach, so it's a nude beach. When you go down there, not everybody is nude, but there is a good amount of people that are. And you also have just to the north, depending on the tide, if it's low enough, you can actually walk this from Black's Beach all the way up to Torrey Pines State Beach. And this is another gorgeous beach right there. And you actually have a lot of hiking and a lot of trail right here at the Torrey Pines Reserve. So great place, great views if you want to go on a trail run or just go on a hike with some family. Also, just south of it, you're going to have the golf course. This right here is the trails and stuff like I was talking about. And then this whole zone, these are the greens and the fairways for Torrey Pines golf course. Gorgeous golf course, definitely worth playing and checking out. And if you're a resident in San Diego, you actually get a discount there, which is pretty cool. There's not much residential up here either. It's mostly there's a Scripps hospital, and then you have some like biotech and some other companies and commercial buildings up in this zone. Now we're going to move down right here. This is another really cool place to maybe hang out or have a picnic or bring some food to go, because the glider port is where all these people go off and they literally launch from the grass up top and they just hang glide and cruise around. So it's something really cool to check out. It's not for me, sounds a little scary. Not that I'm afraid of heights, but I don't want to be just depending on a big piece of plastic to steer me around and depend on the wind. But hey, everybody's different. We already talked about La Jolla Farms. Alicia Keys has a house up here. Some really gorgeous, big estates back in this spot. So if that's what you're looking for, it's going to be one of the more expensive neighborhoods. Most things are going to be $5+ million. UCSD, huge campus right here. A lot of smart people go to that school and they graduate from that school. So it's huge on biotech and engineering and things like that. And I actually read it's number 3 for the top public colleges for the value. The Birch Aquarium, it's a pretty small aquarium, but it's actually pretty cool to check out. I mean, you got some sharks, you got some jellyfish, you got some cool aquatic things to check out if you have kids or if you're into the sea life. As we start to cruise down La Jolla Shores right here, this is going to take us all the way down into the village of La Jolla, this is where all the nightlife is, all the things to do is all going to be in this zone right here. So you got a ton of restaurants, and you have also another thing to do is La Jolla Cove. So great place to go snorkeling. There's a big park right here at Ellen Browning Scripps. You'll see people hanging out there. Oh, I do want to highlight this area because on Pearl, this is another main street right here. You have the Comedy Store, which is great. I mean, I go down here all the time with friends, and the shows are cheap too. They're like $30. They're $30, and you have to have a 2-drink minimum. So you can even get 2 waters, and that counts as your 2-drink minimum. Pizza on Pearl right here, some really good New York style pizza. And then right next door, the taco stand, great Mexican food, California burrito. It's more of like a fast food joint too, but it's really good. And then right here is the El Pescador Fish Market. Now, I live about 25 to 30 minutes from La Jolla, but me and my girlfriend drive down pretty often to go to El Pescador because it has some of the freshest and best fish. Fish burritos are really good there, but they have sashimi. They have a ton of stuff. And then as we start to move down here, we're getting closer to Pacific Beach now. So you got Wind and Sea, which is really good for body surfing. All of this is going to be residential, so there's a ton of homes. One more, you got the La Jolla Open Air Farmers Market. So you got some fresh farmer stuff over here. That's every Sunday, 9 to 1. So it's in the morning. Once you leave La Jolla, you are now in Pacific Beach, which is a lot more of a younger vibe. It's going to be more loud down there. It's a lot more partying. A lot of kids that go to UCSD or SDSU, this is where they live. It can get pretty riled up. It's kind of a party scene, especially on the weekends. Kate Sessions Park is probably one of the coolest parks in all of San Diego. The views, you can see a quick little picture here. The views are just phenomenal. If you've ever been to San Francisco and you've been to Dolores Park, it's very, very similar. Mount Soledad Mountain, this is another one too. You get beautiful views of the west and north heading up. So that's gonna wrap it up for our map tour right there. So that's gonna be La Jolla in a nutshell, guys. I hope that was very helpful and that gave you a better idea of, proximities to things, some of the sights and sounds, and some of the beaches, just to give you a better idea. But I do want to touch base a little bit more on the real estate because I covered a little bit of it in that map tour. But I do want to remind you, the average price point here is about $2.3 million. That is up about 48% from the previous year. I want you to think about that for a second. Imagine buying your home last year for $600,000 and now it's worth 1.2, or maybe you went and bought a house there for 1.5, now it's likely worth $3 million. That is absolutely mind-boggling, and I honestly think prices in La Jolla are gonna keep going up because it's very inexpensive. I know that sounds crazy when I say there's $20 million homes there, but it's very inexpensive compared to some of these other expensive markets. So when I talk about places like Laguna Beach, Beverly Hills, those homes are selling all day for 20, 30, 15 million dollars. People are selling those and moving down to La Jolla. And that's the thing, especially during the pandemic, I was seeing so many people saying, like coming from the Bay, coming from New York, saying it's how much for a house? Wait, what? I'll take 2. So keep that in mind. And also the days on market last year, they were at about 12 days on market. Now it's at about 19 days. So it's slowed down a bit, which is great for buyers. There's a lot more opportunity, and it just gives you time to breathe and really find that right home. So if you're thinking about making a move here, my info is in the description below, and I'd love to help just save you time and figure out what neighborhood is best for you. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one.